it looks like there is a big lawsuit right now between Swizz Beatz, Timbaland, and Triller. And believe me, shots have been fired in this battle. And let me tell you this, though. There's not a one side to this story. This is very, very deep. Not only is Swizz Beatz and Timbaland going after Triller, but they are fighting back. And once you hear how they're fighting over the money, it always comes down to the money. You're going to really freak out because this lawsuit is going to get messy. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboystv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyz TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here to greet everybody and say hello. As you come into the chat, give me a hello or a thumbs up, shout out your city. Let me know what city you're from. Hey, Sharice Clark, I see the Elder Eastland is in here. He says, let's get it in. Right on, we certainly will. Silver Stream, we're going to handle that as well. And so how many of you, I'd like to ask this question as you put your city in the chat. Let me know what city you're from. From Atlanta, Sharice, and I see. Let's see. I see Atlanta. What other cities do I see? San Francisco, New York. Okay. Los Angeles. Nice. Very nice. Philadelphia, Pinehurst, North Carolina. I see Brandy out of Virginia. Good to see everybody. So let me ask y'all this question: how many of y'all heard about this interesting, crazy lawsuit between Swizz Beatz, Timbaland, and Triller? Give me a yes or no if you saw this lawsuit. It's crazy. It's really crazy, and it's going to get messy. And let me just tell you this: these guys are in for a fight. This lawsuit is not as simple as it appears to be. If you look on social media, you'll see where those two are suing. Timbaland and Swizz Beatz are suing Triller for a massive amount of money. It's about $28 million, which is really. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's a surprise to a lot of people because the lawsuit started with Swizz Beatz and Timbaland selling. They sold Verzuz. Now, how many of y'all know about Verzuz? Anybody watch any of the Verzuz or any of these battles that were going on? And I saw a lot of chit chat about it. You know, the Verzuz battles were pretty big, especially during the pandemic. They really kind of took a foothold on the internet, and these guys showed tremendous creativity and intelligence by creating the Verzuz. And you know, it was a shot heard around the world. It was heard around the world. Everybody was tuning in for a Verzuz, and I applaud these guys for what they did. I mean, I really want to take a second before we dig into this lawsuit and what's going on. I want to applaud the Black men for just, you know, having the ingenuity to create something cool, and it was fun and positive, and I liked it because it also gave an opportunity for a massive platform for a lot of artists that you forgot about. You know, a lot of artists that people weren't talking about anymore, artists that, you know, from the 90s, early 2000s, maybe even the 80s or the 70s, and it just seemed to give new life to their lives and great possibilities. And I just think that was genius of them, and I want to applaud them for that. Now that we have applauded them for their genius, I'm going to start the engine, and we're going to really drive into what's really going on here. So there's this lawsuit going on that is really fascinating. I'm going to pull it up. As I pull it up, please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. And also I have to give a quick little PSA to remind you that there are a lot of fake Boyce Watkins accounts all over the internet. Apparently there are these scammers and spammers who pretend to be me, who will hit you up in your inbox and invite you to go on their WhatsApp and invest in their crypto scams. That is not me. That is not me. If you see those people, if you see those scammers, I need you to block them, and I need you to cuss them out. And then I would like for you to also report their account because they are apparently taking people for money, and I don't want that to happen to you. So I got to make that public service announcement before we get started. So here's the lawsuit. It's really interesting. This is according to the Verge.com. The Verge is saying that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz are suing Triller after the short-form video platform allegedly failed to make a $28 million payment for the acquisition of their live music face-off series, Verzuz. The music producing pair claims that Triller hadn't followed through on any of its required payments since January. According to the lawsuit, which was filed in a Los Angeles County Superior Court on Tuesday, Triller allegedly failed to pay Timbaland and Swizz Beatz in January and later agreed to a settlement that would require it to pay $18 million in March and $1 million every month for the next 10 months. But those payments supposedly haven't come through either. This is in the lawsuit. The Washington Post is saying this. To date, defendants Triller have failed and refused to make any payment to Mosley, Timbaland, and Dean, Swizz Beatz, of the past due sums due and owing, and defendants continue in default of their payment obligations under the agreement, the filing states, according to the Washington Post. Okay, let's stop right there. I want to just stop right there for a second, and I want us to kind of meditate on what we just heard. I want us to kind of just think about this part here. Okay, so there's this lawsuit being filed, and they're claiming that the company didn't pay them, right? So you went out and you created this thing called Verzuz, and you decide that you want to sell it to a company called Triller. I looked up Triller. I didn't know much about Triller. How many of you use the Triller app or have even heard of it? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Give me a yes or no if you use Triller or even heard of it. Apparently, this is a really popular app. I looked up Triller, and you know me, I like to look at the history and look at the receipts and see what's going on. So here are the two guys who created Triller in 2015. And these two guys, their names are David Lieberman and Sammy Rubin. David Lieberman and Sammy Rubin. I thought it would be somebody named Rothenstein or something, but it's not Rothenstein. It's David Lieberman and Sammy Rubin. Two guys that know how to make money off of hip hop artists. They know how to take black culture and monetize the shit out of it. I'm not a big fan of these types. I worked with a guy named Damon Dash on something called Intelligent Boss Moves back in the day. And I remember Dame used to call people like that culture vultures. And I couldn't disagree because, they make a lot of money off black culture. They do this all throughout the music industry. A lot of y'all, think about this. Y'all make the best music ever. Y'all are the most talented people on earth. And other people are the ones who are the primary beneficiaries of all this. Y'all should know better. Y'all should know better. Straight up. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this in Powernomics. He says that you create all this amazing stuff with your music and then you give it away. Down in the Boogie Down Bronx in the 1970s, you created this amazing transformative art form called hip hop. And you didn't benefit from it because I can still go to the same neighborhood that hip hop was created, and I'm going to see the same poverty I saw back when hip hop was originated. So I'm really just trying to understand at what point are we going to get the damn message? At what point are we going to understand the limitations of always selling our greatness to other people? I'm not dissing Timbaland. I'm not dissing Swizz Beatz. I get it. 28 million. That's a lot of money, and they probably got more money coming after that. Maybe they couldn't monetize it at the highest levels. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out when we're going to wake up as black people. When are we going to wake up and just realize that when you make these deals with the devil's going to act like the devil? The devil's in control. Now, I'm not trying to say that Triller's wrong. In fact, there's a whole other side to this lawsuit, and Triller has really come out swinging. They're not sitting back just letting Timbaland and Swizz Beatz talk bad about them. They are coming back, and they are literally talking back to Swizz Beatz. They're talking back to Timbaland, and they're talking back about why they didn't pay these guys, and they're claiming that Swizz Beatz and Timbaland didn't do their job. Now, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but more specifically, I had to take a moment as I'm reading that article and help y'all reflect for a minute on what happens when you keep selling the culture. I'm sorry. I don't get me wrong. I liked Verzuz a lot when it was a black-owned company, but I don't like Verzuz when it's a white-owned company. Then you become another BET. Seriously, that's what you become, another BET. So let me keep going. Let me keep reading. No, stop it, boy. Stop it. Just stop doing that. Okay. All right. I promise I won't do it no more. All right. So here's more. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. King 80 says you work with Mr. Wu. First of all, I don't work with nobody named Wu, you idiot, you big dummy. But second of all, if I do work with people who are not black, I am the person who is in charge. When I have a partnership, I maintain ownership over the assets that are in my family, unlike yourself. You are an idiot. So don't be coming up in here with that nonsense unless you're asking to get blocked, Mr. Kingle. So you need to quit all of that. I don't work for nobody. We built our company. We have made tens of millions of dollars over the years, employed tons of black people, put millions of dollars into the pockets of black people, and maintain 100% ownership. At what point have you ever seen me come on here and have to get permission? I don't have to get permission from nobody. You got to get permission from your mama because you're living in your mama's basement. So just sit down, fool.
Epic fail.
So let's keep going. Let me move on. I'm gonna stop talking to the tiny-minded people in the chat. All right. So Timbaland and Swizz Beatz created Verzuz in 2020 as a webcast that pits two artists and their music against each other. Triller acquired the series last year, and as part of the deal, the duo joined Triller's management team and also became shareholders in its parent company, the Triller Network. According to Billboard, Timbaland and Swizz Beatz split up a portion of their equity stake to 46 other artists who appeared on Verzuz, including Alicia Keys, who's married to Swizz Beatz, by the way, T-Pain, Rick Ross, and John Legend. In an email to The Verge, Triller claimed that it has paid Timbaland and Swizz Beatz $50 million in cash and stock. 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 50 million. So what do you think? I'd love to know what percentages in cash, what percentages in stock. And stock in what? Is it stock in Triller? Like is Triller a publicly traded company? I didn't know that Triller was a publicly traded company. Let me see. Let me look up Triller stock price. Triller stock price. I don't see Triller stock. They're not in the stock market. It looks like it. Oh wait, it says the company is publicly traded and focuses on digital advertising. Both companies' boards approved the merger proposal, which would have a combined entity at $5 billion. In Q1 2022, Triller expected the SPAC, also the special purpose acquisition company, IPO, to finalize with Triller stock listing on the NASDAQ. Okay, but I still didn't see anything. Normally, if I type in the stock price of a company, I can find the stock price immediately. So I don't know the details of Triller stock. So apparently what Triller appears to be saying is, look, man, we have paid you a lot of money already. We've already hooked you up. You're getting paid. So why are you complaining? Well, here's what else is going on. So they said earlier this month, a report from the Washington Post revealed other missed payments from the TikTok rival from Triller. Triller's a TikTok rival, failing to deliver consistent monthly funds promised to black creators it recruited. Again, making deals with the devil gonna be the devil. I'm not saying that black creators shouldn't make deals with the devil. I'm saying that black people need to learn how to start our own damn businesses. I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that you're wrong to make deals with these social media apps and companies. But here's the deal: when you are a content creator, and you are dependent on the platform to pay you for your content, then they have all the power. They get to decide life or death for your platform. They get to decide whether your content gets exposed to the algorithm or not. They get to decide when you're going to get paid, how much you're going to get paid, and if your paycheck is going to go down. You know what options you have when you're a content creator and you're heavily dependent on something that's owned by your adversary? The only right you have is you get to cry. You get to cry when they don't pay you. You get to cry when they decide that they don't want to give you your money. You get to cry when they decide they want to demonetize you. You get to cry when they decide they want to shadow ban you. In fact, how many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you have been shadow banned on Facebook, Instagram, or been in Facebook jail? How many Facebook jail veterans do we have in the chat? How many of y'all have been, blocked, banned, shut down? It's humiliating. It's really humiliating. I've been in Facebook jail so many times. I'm like a 10-time felon. I got a long track record. A lot of my platforms, I got platforms with hundreds of thousands of people on them, and I'll put up a post and I'll look at the stats and it'll say this post was shown to 80 people. How the hell am I gonna have 400,000 followers on a page and have the post shown to 80 people? Well, that's because they're playing a game with y'all. You know, when white folks control all the platforms, well, they get to make all the rules. I don't even know if Triller is run by white folks or Jewish folks or Asian folks. I know it ain't run by black people. That's what I do though. That's what I do. I know it ain't run by Timbaland and Swizz Beatz because now they're in court. They're suing because they feel like they aren't getting paid. But Triller came back and they wrote some emails. They said, look, we're not gonna sit here and take this. And I'm gonna read what Triller wrote back to Timbaland and Swizz Beatz in 1 second. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. A lot of you joined us yesterday. Hundreds of you actually joined us yesterday for a special training that I did for the members of the Black Business School. The Black Business School you can join for free. And I did a training on how to become a millionaire with 5 minutes a month. And for those of you that maybe missed it or would like to take advantage of the offer that was made at the end to go through our Black Money sequence in the Black Business School, we are the world's leading Black wealth experts. We train 150,000 students around the world. We reach 1 million Black people a week. We are independent. We are not corporate sponsored. This is not brought to you by Walmart and Bank of America. We are not funded by the government. We are independent. So if you'd like to learn from our experts, we have millionaires and billionaires and entrepreneurs and CEOs who teach in our programs. Feel free to go to blackmoneysequence.com if you'd like to take advantage of the program and become a part of the Black Business School. We are very proud of what we do, and we want to cheer on Black folks who are out here getting it done and building independent wealth. Now let's get back to this whole issue with Timbaland and Swizz Beatz and the lawsuit. So here's what Triller wrote. Triller wrote a really compelling email that was very fascinating because it's interesting because it really says that Triller is fighting back. Triller is not taking a sitting down. They're like, look, you're not going to spit on our name. You're going to put some respect on our name because Triller is, from what I understand, they were the #1 app in India. They at one point were the #1 app or #2 app in the United States. When TikTok was banned in India, they shot up to the top 2 or 3 in India. Then in the United States, when they talked about banning TikTok, Triller shot up to #1 in the United States for a little while. So Triller ain't playing. Triller's sitting on billions of dollars. And I think that what they're saying to Swizz Beatz and Timbaland is, okay, you can fight us if you want to, but we have a war chest that you would not believe. We've got money that will just literally blow your socks off. We will keep you locked up in court for the next 18,000 years, and we still going to own your culture. We're still going to have more influence over your people than you have. I really think that Triller is just very serious. I don't think that they are just going to sit there silently and issue sort of simple corporate statement. I think that they're really going to fight hard. So here's what they said. Here's what it says in this email. It says, first and foremost, this feud is not over Verzuz. It is personal to Swizz and Tim. Swizz and Tim have personally been the greatest beneficiaries of Triller to date, having been paid over $50 million in cash stock personally already. This is nothing more than a performance dispute on personal payments to Swizz and Tim. So notice they keep saying Swizz and Tim, Swizz and Tim, Swizz and Tim, like it's a song, like you could put a beat to it. Swizz and Tim, Swizz and Tim. So on top of the $50 million they were paid, they have annual obligations, which if met and no breach has occurred, allows them to an annual payment. Only one payment of $10 million was in question. We don't believe they have met the thresholds for that payment. So they're basically saying you didn't do your damn job. You need to do your job, including but not limited to failure to disclose obligations to labels. And we have been trying to resolve it amicably. Like they say, look, we tried to be your friend, but now you done bought the crazy out of us. Now, this is interesting. I'll be very curious to see what they are referring to when they say fail to meet your obligation or fail to reveal your obligations to labels. So I don't know if that means that they were putting people on Verzuz as a favor to labels in order to get side money. I don't know. I'm not saying this yes or no, but think about this, right? The music industry is very complex. You know, every song that you hear in a Verzuz competition is owned by somebody, you know, and a lot of times it ain't owned by the artist half the damn time. You know, a lot of times the artists, they're just paid performers. So in order to get access to a lot of the entertainment that you consider to be Black entertainment and things that are owned by Black people, you got to understand that a lot of these artists, a lot of your favorite artists who have all the popularity and you love them to death and you think that they're the bosses and the kings and everything else, a lot of these artists have to go ask permission from daddy before they can even sing the damn song. A lot of these artists don't own a goddamn thing. And so when you think about a versus and you got your favorite artists up there singing your favorite songs, just know that your favorite songs, what you think are your favorite songs, are basically a type of real estate. They're a type of real estate that these corporations own inside your brain. They own real estate inside your brain. They've got you in a position that's really interesting, very precarious, where you have psychologically committed yourself to something that doesn't belong to you. It's a lot like a gangbanger who dies over a block that his mama doesn't even own property on. You know, you're dying over the block. You're like, this is my block. This is my block. Come on, my block. I'm going to kill you. Okay, but it's not your block. That block belongs to Mr. Ruthenstein, who lives on Beverly Hills, and he just owns your block along with about 80 other blocks because nobody ever talked to you about what it means to actually own something. So a lot of the artists on Verzuz, and I don't know which ones, I don't know the details of all the relationships one way or the other. A lot of the artists on Verzuz don't own the songs that they perform. A lot of your favorite actors who are in a lot of your favorite movies, they don't own the damn movie. There are shows that you love, that you become very attached to, where you're like, why don't they do a reunion for this show? Why don't they do this show again? Well, the actors want to do it. They just can't because they went to Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers said no. Warner Brothers basically said, fuck you. We're not doing a reunion because we own you. We own you people. So until we kind of get past that and understand that, I think you're going to always kind of see these weird situations emerge that don't quite make sense. Now, I'm not dissing Tim and dissing Swizz, so I want to make that real clear. I know people that know these guys, so I'm not even trying to be negative toward them in any way. I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. I think ownership and black ownership, I think they kind of get a lot of that. But a lot of times you got to remember, White Daddy writes really big checks. You know, he can write really big checks. And if the money is the motive, like, you know, they say MOE, money over everything. If money is the motive and money is the number one variable in your economic decisions, then the white man will always win. The reason he will always win is because he's always got the most money. It's a lot like if I'm picking my wife and I say, you know what, the girl with the biggest booty is the one that I want. All that matters is the size of the booty. Nothing else matters. No matter how smart you are, how pretty you are, how kind you are, how well you cook. It's the size of the booty. Well, the people, the women with the BBLs are going to get first place because they have booties so big they look like alien ships. They look like alien ships attached to their bodies, right? So what you got to do, this is what I'm saying to you, black people. I need y'all to listen to me here. Give me a yes in the chat if you get what I'm saying. In order for you to succeed as a black person economically in this country and be able to achieve a healthy balance between wealth, power, freedom, and sovereignty, you have to make decisions that are not just based on money. You cannot make every decision solely based on how much money you make, because if the money is the only one motive, if money is the only thing you're paying attention to, the white man always wins because, goddamn it, he can print his own money. His face is on the damn money. He owns the money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so let me keep going. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, if you want to get text alerts when I go live, you can text the word voice to 31996. And speaking of content and everything else, this podcast can be found on Spotify and Apple. So if you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, you can find all the content that I do here, as well as content I do with my wife. My wife is a therapist and a full professor of social work, and she's very, very good at healing for black people and all these other things. So these are some things that we do around here, and we don't ask nobody's permission to do nothing. All right, so let me move on and keep reading this a little bit more of this article, and then I'm gonna let you guys go because I just wanted to break this down. Y'all know me. I like to talk about what's going on, but I feel like if we can't talk about it and make each other better people, then it's not a worthy conversation. So what Triller is saying back to Swizz Beatz and Timbaland in this lawsuit is really interesting. This is gonna get messy. This is gonna get ugly. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're gonna get their money. I think it's just going to turn into a calamity. And I think that because everyone else is so obsessed with money, I don't think anybody's really going to stand in solidarity with them against this behemoth, this multi-billion-dollar behemoth called Triller. They said that we don't believe that they have met the thresholds for that payment. So they believe that they didn't meet the thresholds. You didn't do your job. That's why I didn't pay you. Including but not limited to failure to disclose obligations to labels. And we have been trying to resolve it amicably. It is unfortunate they elected to elevate this to the press and a quote unquote legal shakedown, and to further claim we now also owe them payment for 1 year from now. that has its own set of deliverables, which include but are not limited to delivery of a set number of verses for 2022. So they're basically saying, look, you haven't even delivered what you're basically saying that we didn't, not only did we not pay you for last week, but you're saying we didn't even pay you for next week, and next week hasn't even happened yet. You're saying that we were supposed to pay you for 40 hours of work next week, and next week hasn't even started. What are you talking about? So I really see a lot of frustration in this message. I think that they're very upset with this, and they're really just kind of, I think they're gonna keep revealing stuff like this. And this is interesting. I find this very fascinating, because what a lot of people don't see when they see lawsuits, or they'll hear somebody that's an artist or the worker go out and say, they scammed me, they didn't pay me. And I know that feeling. I've seen that. I've had that happen to me, where people were on my platform or something, and they, and I've never, by the way, I've never been paid to do a video for anybody. I've never been paid to do content. I do it for free. You give me a good platform, I'll do that content for free. But I've paid content creators before. And so, and I pay every single penny I ever owed, every penny I ever promised. I always paid every penny that I owed that person. But then sometimes there'll be a person that I fire because you're trifling, or you're crazy, or you're mean, or you didn't do your job. And then next thing you know, they go on the internet, Dr. Bush didn't pay me. Dr. Bush don't pay nobody. I'm like, no, I paid you everything. You're just mad because I fired you because you didn't do your job. So people don't get to see all sides of the equation. We just sort of pick a side without having all the facts. So in this situation, I'm 100% clear. I'm not picking a side. I'm not sitting here saying Triller's wrong. I'm not here to say Swizz Beats and Timbaland are wrong. I'm here to simply say that it's fascinating, though, because on one hand, Swizz Beats and Timbaland can point to the fact that Triller's been accused of not paying other content creators. So that is a problem. And then generally speaking, I don't think these platforms pay them very well. TikTok and what's the other, YouTube, when they pay people for shorts, the amount that they pay them is not even enough to pay your card note half the damn time, right? So those payments are really not that great, to be honest with you. But then on the other side of that, Triller's coming back and basically saying, we didn't pay you because you didn't do your job. We paid other people. We got a whole lot of other people that work with us. And here's another thing that's really interesting. I don't know how deep this goes, but from what I read in the Verge, they were claiming that that TikTok has some other very prominent investors, like Mr. Snoop Dogg, Lil Wayne, Kendrick Lamar. I don't have Kendrick's picture, but y'all know what Kendrick Lamar looks like. He looks like a genius. That's what he is, because Kendrick Lamar is my favorite rapper of the whole group of those three. Kendrick is the best because Kendrick always has something to say, and he's a genius at expressing himself. He's a true lyricist in a world of crappy mumble rappers. I am not a fan of mumble rap. I think mumble rap is the reflection of the fact that our school system is failing and our poor kids can't even pull together two verses to save their life. And it's no disrespect toward young artists. There are many young artists like D1 and others who are very, very good at creating great content. But mumble rappers, unfortunately, just learn that if you put a good beat on a nursery rhyme, it's probably going to be a hit, because a lot of your audience, unfortunately, was cheated out of a quality education, and they don't have the ability to discern quality content and quality music from music that just sounds good when you're smoking and drinking. So anyway, with that being said, let me stop. I'm kind of being mean right now. I sound like a mean old man. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be honest, and don't act like you don't agree with me. All right, so let's keep going. So the next part here, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. You listen to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And make sure you go to boycewatkins.com. I have a free ebook you can have there on how to get started investing. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, there's my Twitter. It's Twitter, Dr. Boyce Watkins with the number 1 at the end. So Triller comes back, and they're also saying that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz didn't do their job. They said either this will settle or a legal venue will weigh the evidence and determine if Swizz and Tim are entitled to what are effectively, quote unquote, earn out performance payments if they did or didn't perform, or if they did or didn't properly disclose. So they're saying, okay, this is in poker. This is called calling your bluff. In poker, this is called calling your bluff. Calling your bluff is where you say, okay, let's flip the cards over and let's see who wins. They're saying let's flip the cards over. Let's see who's got the best hand. So they're calling their bluff. They're saying this will either settle, like, which it probably will. I'm assuming, because I don't think either one of them benefits from this prolonged legal battle. Or, okay, we can go to court. All right, homie, let's go to court. And they said, and we're going to find out in court if they did or did not perform according to the contract, or if they did or did not properly disclose their relationships with record labels. They said this does not affect Verzuz operations or Triller's ownership of Verzuz. So they're saying we still own it. We still going to run it. Swizz and Tim failed to disclose both trademark and label issues, which are in excess of $50 million. So they're basically saying, you lied, man. You lied. You didn't fulfill your end of the bargain. You know, you told us that everything was cool and it was clear and you had all the rights and everything else, and you didn't. And the thing is that costs money. It costs money to get access to this music. It costs money to get these artists. It costs money to make a lot of these things happen. And so what they're basically saying, it seems to me, is that you didn't tell us the truth, and that costs us a lot of money. So ultimately, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm saying that, you know, for those of you that just saw the headline that they're suing Triller for $28 million, and you're assuming that your favorite artist is right. I don't think that assumption is incredible. Is the most accurate way to look at this. They said that, and also here's another bombshell. This is a big deal. Triller isn't just responding to the lawsuit; they're actually coming back and they are claiming to that they're going to countersue. They said, so it looks to me like they are putting together a counterclaim that will be forthcoming, and it will be in excess of $50 million in damages for, among other things, false reps and warranties, failure to disclose label payments owed, and failure to disclose certain trademark issues, among others. If this does proceed to court, we look forward to putting on our case. What's interesting, though, is they said that the email was signed by a guy named Ryan, and nobody knows who Ryan is. I don't know who Ryan is, but let's look that part up. False reps and warranties. Let me do a quick. I'm gonna do a Google search. Hit the thumbs up button real quick. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Also, as I look this up, just a reminder, don't forget there are a lot of fake Boyce Watkins accounts out here apparently that are hitting you guys up and trying to get you to inbox them back and trying to get you to join these crypto clubs and all this other crazy stuff they have going on. Just ignore that. And if you see those people, please block them and also report those accounts so we can keep everybody safe. All right. So here's what a false representation and warranty means. It says if one of the representations made is inaccurate, the warranty included outlines the action that one signer. Okay, let's see. Oh, no, wait, give me a second. And when a representation is false, the warranty allows the other person involved in the contract to terminate or decline the transaction. So basically what Triller seems to be saying is that the deal we signed with you was not a good deal for us because you did not represent yourself or your ownership in the way that that was reflective of good standing or good intent in this contract. So in a way, it's almost like somebody running up to you and saying, hey, would you like to buy my car? But they don't actually own the car. Right. And so I'm thinking that Timbaland and Swizz Beatz went to Triller or talked to Triller and said, hey, would you like to buy our black people? And they didn't really own those black people or own those artists. I'm kidding. I'm joking about the owning black people thing. I'm being petty with that. But seriously, like, you know, so it's because when they go to Triller and you make a deal, well, what are you selling? You're selling the audience. That's it. I mean, if you think about the way Verzuz was built, which it was brilliant, by the way, I think Verzuz was extraordinarily good. They built this massive audience during the pandemic, and then they said, well, what do we do with this audience? So with this audience, they go to Triller, and Triller says, okay, we'll pay you millions of dollars for this audience. And I don't think there's necessarily anything evil about it or malicious or cynical or criminal or anything about that. But it is kind of a formula that you should look out for because everybody does it. There's so many people that lean on the fact that black people love to watch TV. Black people love to engage in entertainment. We are the fallback for many corporations that are looking for viewers for their TV shows or people to watch their channels or whatever it is, right? So they will go. So they built up Verzuz and everybody loved it. And then they went and immediately sold that audience to Triller, which then led to a lot of complications. So Verzuz is not a black-owned entity anymore. So if you support it because you just like it. But don't support Verzuz because you think you're supporting your favorite artist. I don't think you really are. And don't support Verzuz because you think you're supporting a black-owned company because you're really not. So let's see here. Now, Mogul Mays, you made a donation, so I got to put your comment on the chat. Thank you, brother, for your donation. He says, I knew from the gate that they went about it the wrong way. You have to have complete ownership and get sponsors to flip the bill, guarantee a certain amount of venues. They missed the mark. Yeah, well, I mean, it was done kind of fast. It seemed to me like it was done very quickly. Like it was almost like Verzuz was sold right after it was created. And I just thought I was like, wow, that was fast. And it was this massive phenomenon that was really doing really well and kind of took the world by storm. And so, I just say in general, I'm not surprised by any of this. So what they're kind of saying is it almost seems like they feel like they got used. Like you went and you sold yourself, you sold what you owned to these partners, to to Lieberman and what's the guy's name? Let me put him on the screen. Whoever these people are that owned and started Triller. Well, these are the founders. I don't know if these are the actual owners anymore. The owners have probably changed. But David Lieberman and Sammy Rubin. So you sold it to the friends of Lieberman and Rubin, and now you're mad because they didn't pay you. Now you have to settle all that in court. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I don't know if 100% ownership would have been appropriate, because sometimes it's difficult to raise the capital to take the business to the next level. But it almost speaks to say that perhaps the ability to manage a business and properly scale a business and raise capital for the business without relinquishing ownership to white folks who have access to the capital might be a better model. That maybe instead of just simply saying, okay, our job is we're going to go and collect black people. We're going to collect a few million black people, put them in a box, and then go sell them over to massa. I think that business model has to be one that isn't carried into the next generation, because what happens is that you're going to carry the damn business all the way up the elevator, but they get to take it to the penthouse. The real money's up in the penthouse. The money is not carrying the business up the elevator. It's when you actually get to live in the penthouse. And in this particular case, this is something that this is a company that could have created, thousands of jobs for black people. And again, I don't know. I'm not here to armchair quarterback the decision that Swizz Beatz and Timbaland made. I don't know what their financial situation is. I'm not judging that at all, but I am going to say this. Here's my final thought on this. It's going to get really ugly because it looks like Triller isn't just sitting back like a quiet little corporation that's going to let people just talk bad about them. It sounds like they're saying, okay, you want to lay out our dirty laundry? How about we lay out your dirty laundry so people will know why we didn't pay you? And I don't know if that benefits anybody's brand. I think it makes everybody look a little bit crazy and a little bit bad. And I'd be curious to know what those other part owners, again, from what I've read, Kendrick Lamar and Snoop Dogg and et cetera, they own a piece of Triller. So I'm curious to see how they feel about all of this, because I don't think this really helps Triller's brand, at least amongst tastemakers and influencers in the black community. So anyway, that's my 2 cents, guys. I'm sticking to it. So thank you all for listening. It was real. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll check back in with you again real soon. So be good. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Go to BoyceWatkins.com if you'd like a free e-copy of my book on how to build wealth by investing $5 a day in the stock market. I want black people to have our own wealth. I don't want us to just have to sell ourselves to white people. That's not the model for the future. Take care. God bless you. Love you. Peace.
Here we are, clanting the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.